With all the agentic automation hype, most software teams are yet to actually automate their workflow. Today, a typical workflow goes something like this. A product manager gets an idea, gets a request, spends time turning it into a user story, then schedules it for a sprint. A developer picks it up, digs into the code base, hopefully uses a coding agent, writes the code, passes that to QA, and with a good, hopefully, again, PR description. Now, a lot of developers are using coding agents today, but the problem is that most of them are still using them the same way that they would work with a pair programmer, right? One ticket, one session at a time, human in the loop the whole time. The idea of spinning up autonomous agents that work across multiple tickets in parallel without needing someone sitting there guiding it in every step and steering it is still something that most teams haven't actually implemented. And that's what I want to show you today. And what I've built and have been using across several of my projects for several months now is just one of the ways that you could fully automate a pipeline that takes a one-line feature description and produces a complete, reviewed, documented pull request ready for a developer to actually take over and get it to the finish line. I've automated roughly about like 80% of my development and user story creation workflows and time in the past 6 months using these automations that I have put in my public repo. I'm going to show you how it actually works. And for that, I have created a separate repo with a browser extension that I built for capturing screenshots and screen recordings, and that has a bunch of features. It's open source, and we're going to use that to go through the entire automation process. So first, I'm going to use my create issue skill. It'll take my initial not so refined description to create a detailed user story. How does it do it? It first explores the code base to understand how the feature in question works today with the current code base, and if necessary, it'll even update the documentation files to reflect the current truth, and then asks clarifying questions before generating a detailed ticket. Now, here's an example of a GitHub issue that it just created. And you can see that from a simple prompt that I gave it, and after answering a couple of questions, the system's created a very comprehensive ticket. It has a structured user story, clear title, summary, the current behavior of the system, the expected behavior after the changes, the technical considerations, things that I have not even mentioned in my prompts, but that the system figured out by reading the code base itself and following the instructions in my skill. You can see that there is a full PR description summarizing all the changes, a test plan, any potential breaking changes are flagged, detailed documentation, both internal and technical, and customer facing. A release note is also generated, and I also have a final review summary with notes for whoever is taking over from that point. Now, if you think about this, I started this couple of lines prompt, and I have a pull request with all the documentation generated with multiple test agents that have actually tested this and have passed or essentially marked it as passed. Now, how does it actually work under the hood? There are 4 stages, and the whole thing kicks off automatically the moment that GitHub ticket is actually created. First one is the Explorer. An agent reads the code base, gets up to speed on the current state, passes the information with the ticket information to a code architect. That agent looks at the requirements, puts together a detailed implementation plan. That is then passed on to an implementer agent that gets the written details and writes the actual code, the tests, runs the initial lint tests, then passes everything to a review and fix loop. And this is really, really, really important, and one of the secret sauces here. We are triggering the 5 specialized Claude code review agents, but we don't just let them go through that process once and provide feedback, but we actually loop through getting the feedback, passing that on to the original coding orchestrator. Now, once it clears that review process, we're not done yet. We have another final stage. And that one handles all the documentation, technical, customer-facing release notes, and a very detailed PR description is generated as well. Everything a developer really needs to take it and get it to the finish line. For this demo, as I said, I used my RadKit public repo, which is open source. It's a browser extension, and you can actually go and check out the project tab. You can actually see the automations, the tickets that are created, the pull requests that are created. The whole thing is visible and public, so you can see where it works well, where it fails, and really dig deeper into a demo for yourself. Of course, the real set of skills and automations is under my DevFlow Autopilot repo as well. So you can grab the Claude skills, the GitHub workflow actions. Some of my favorite Claude plugins are listed as well. Just grab those, and if you're a developer or a leader looking to cut down on cycle time and the kind of work that is the boring part and slows teams down, I would really encourage you to just check it out, fork it, make it your own, customize it to make it work with your workflows and automations and requirements in codebase. If you have any questions, please let me know.